My daughter-in-law called me, furious. I keyed your entire car to humiliate you. I thought insanity had finally taken a hold of her, but I replied, Darling, I sold that car months ago. It belongs to a police colonel now. And in that instant, she was speechless. The phone rang at 3 in the afternoon on a Tuesday I will never forget. It was Danielle, my daughter-in-law, and from the first second, I knew something terrible had happened, or was about to happen. Mother-in-law, she screamed in a voice dripping with pure venom. I hope you're happy with your miserable life because I just keyed your entire car. My heart stopped for a second, not because of the car, but because it confirmed just how far her madness had gone. Yes, you heard me right, she continued, her laugh hysterical, sick. I took the keys you left at the house, found your precious silver Nissan in the supermarket parking lot, and ran my keys all over it. Hood, doors, trunk. Everything is destroyed, covered in deep scratches. Now everyone will see what kind of woman you are, a ruined old lady with a ruined car. I took a deep breath, a very deep breath, because what I was about to say would change everything. Danielle, my dear daughter-in-law, my voice came out calm, almost sweet. I have to tell you something important. What? She spat. Are you going to cry? Beg me for forgiveness for being so nosy? No, my love. It's just that I sold that car 3 months ago. Silence. A silence so heavy I could hear my own heart beating. What? What did you say? All the fury was gone from her voice. Now it sounded small, scared. I sold it in July, Danielle, to a very kind man, a good person. His name is Henry Morgan. Do you know who Henry Morgan is? No. He's a retired colonel from the state police, 35 years of service. He lives 2 blocks from here. And believe me, my love, when I tell you that police colonels don't take kindly to people destroying their property. The scream Danielle let out was one of pure terror. No, 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 you told me it was your car. You lied to me. I never told you anything, Danielle. You assumed, just like you've assumed so many things about me, about my life, about my house. I paused. And now, my dear daughter-in-law, you're going to assume the consequences. Mother-in-law, please, you have to help me. Tell the colonel it was a mistake. A mistake? You just confessed to me, in great detail, that you did it deliberately to humiliate me. That doesn't sound like a mistake, Danielle. That sounds like premeditated vandalism. I heard the unmistakable sound of sirens through the phone. No, they're coming. Mother-in-law, help me. I'm sorry, my love. But as you yourself said so many times, you reap what you sow. And I hung up. My hands were shaking, not from fear, not from regret. They were shaking with something I hadn't felt in a long, long time. Power. But to understand how we got to this point, I have to tell you the whole story. 3.5 years ago, my son Robert came home with his eyes shining with excitement. Mom, I met someone special. Robert is my only son, my treasure. Ever since I lost my husband 8 years ago in that horrible accident, Robert and I became inseparable. He took care of me, I took care of him. We had dinner together every Sunday, watched movies, told each other about our days. He was my entire world. Then came Danielle Collins. The first time I saw her, I understood why my son was in love. She was beautiful, long caramel-colored hair, green eyes, a perfect smile. She worked as a public relations specialist at a marketing agency. She came from a good family, so she said. Her dad owned an import business. Mrs. Miller, she said with a sweet voice during that first dinner, Robert has told me so much about you. He says you're the best mum in the world. I melted. What mother wouldn't? The first few months were wonderful. Danielle would come to the house, help me cook, bring me flowers, and affectionately call me Mama Trish. We made plans for the wedding, for the future, for grandchildren. I was happy. My son had found love. What a fool I was. The wedding was 3 years ago in December. A beautiful ceremony at the Rosewood Event Garden, 150 guests. Danielle's imported dress cost $2,000. The full catering was $5,000. Live music was $1,500. Decorations, another $1,000. Robert had saved $10,000. I put in the remaining $25,000. Mum, you don't have to do this, Robert told me, with tears in his eyes. My love, it's your wedding. You only get married once. I want it to be perfect. I took that money from my life savings. 35 years working as an elementary school teacher. Every dollar counted, every dollar earned through hard work. But it was for my son's happiness. It was worth it. Or was it? The first red flag came during the honeymoon. They went to Hawaii for 2 weeks. When they returned, they came over for dinner, as we always did on Sundays. Danielle looked around my living room with a strange expression. Mama Trish, she said with a little smile, have you ever thought about remodeling? This house is so vintage. Vintage. That was the word she used to say old. The house has its charm, I replied, trying to sound casual. My husband and I bought it 40 years ago. It holds a lot of memories. Of course, she said, but her tone, there was something in her tone. It's just that Robert and I were thinking, when we have kids, we'll need more space. Right, honey? Robert nodded but looked uncomfortable. Well, the house has 4 bedrooms, I replied. There's plenty of space. Uh-huh, Danielle bit her lip. But 4 bedrooms for 5 people, you, us, and the kids. It's a bit tight, isn't it? 5 people. She was already planning to live in my house. Danielle, Robert, I said calmly. You have your own apartment. It's comfortable. It's in a good area. It's just that it's a bit far from my job, Danielle interrupted, and the traffic is horrible. Robert gets home exhausted every day. It's only 40 minutes, Robert said. 40 minutes in the morning, 40 at night. That's more than an hour a day wasted, sweetie. Danielle touched his hand. If we lived closer to downtown, like here, we could have a better quality of life. That's when I understood. She wanted my house. We'll see, I said, closing the subject. For now, enjoy your apartment. You're newlyweds. You need your privacy. Danielle's smile froze for a microsecond, but she quickly recovered it. You're right, Mama Trish. I was just thinking about the future. The future. She was always talking about the future. Her future, in my house. The next 6 months were the beginning of my nightmare. Sunday dinners became tense. Danielle started showing up late. We just had so much work, she'd say. Or, oh, we lost track of time at my parents' house. When she did come, she spent the whole time on her phone. Danielle, are you joining us? I'd ask as I set the table. Oh, Mama Trish, I just have to answer some important emails. She wouldn't even look up. Robert started to change too. He used to call me every day. Now, 3-4 days would go by without hearing from him. Sweetheart, are you okay? You haven't called. Sorry, Mum, I've just been really busy. Busy, or does Danielle have you busy? I asked, half joking. Mum, his tone was a warning. Don't start. Don't start. Me. But I didn't say anything. I didn't want to be the toxic mother-in-law, the meddling one. Then the comments began. Mama Trish, don't you think this living room is a bit cluttered? So much antique furniture. It makes it look smaller. Mum, Why do you have so many photos on the walls? It's like a museum. Mum, that curtain is so out of style. How old is it? 20 years? Every visit brought a new comment about my house, my things, my life. One day they arrived unannounced. I was in my pajamas, watching my 3 o'clock soap opera. Surprise! Robert shouted, letting himself in with his key. Oh, honey, you should have called, I said, fixing my hair. Danielle walked in behind him, wrinkling her nose. Mum, do you have to watch the TV so loud? You can hear it from the street. I'm alone, Danielle. I'm not bothering anyone. Yes, but the neighbours. She made a vague gesture. Anyway, we came because we want to talk to you. They sat on the couch, both of them, facing me as if it were an intervention. Mum, Robert began. Danielle and I have been thinking about our future, she completed, taking his hand. Here it comes, I thought. Here comes the bombshell. We want to have kids soon, Robert said, and our apartment is small. And you live all alone in this huge house, Danielle added with that fake smile. 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a yard, for just one person. It's my house, I said, with more firmness than I felt. We know, Mum. Nobody's saying otherwise. Robert looked nervous. But we were thinking, what would you say if we moved in here? The 3 of us, well, soon to be 4 or 5 when the babies arrive. My stomach clenched. Robert, this is my house, my space. You'd be helping your son, Danielle interrupted. Don't you want your son to have a better life? Don't you want to meet your grandchildren and watch them grow up near you? The manipulation was so obvious it hurt. Of course I want to meet my grandchildren, but you two have your own home. A tiny, uncomfortable home, far from everything. Danielle raised her voice. While you have all this wasted space. Danielle, I warned, this is my house. I bought it with my husband. I raised my son here. It's not wasted space. It's my life. Mum, nobody's kicking you out, Robert said quickly. We just thought we could share. Share? Share my house? You could keep the master bedroom, Danielle offered, as if she were doing me a favor. We'd take the other 2 for us and the baby, and the 4th can be a study. How generous of you, Danielle, allowing me to keep my own room in my own house. It doesn't have to be like this, Mum. Robert looked desperate. We just wanted to propose it. Well, you've proposed it, and my answer is no. Danielle stood up abruptly. You know what? You're selfish. A selfish old woman who'd rather be alone in her big house than help her own son. Danielle, Robert shouted, but she had already stormed out, slamming the door so hard it made the pictures on the wall tremble. Robert looked at me with pleading eyes. Mum, please. Robert, if you want a bigger house, find one. Save up, get a loan. But this house is mine, and as long as I'm alive, it will remain mine. My son left without another word, and I was left alone, shaking, feeling like I had just lost something precious. I didn't know that was only the beginning. 2 months after that conversation, things got worse. Robert barely spoke to me. When he did, he was short, distant. My loving son had become a stranger. And Danielle? She looked at me with pure hatred every time we saw each other. One Saturday, I went to the market early. I needed to do my weekly shopping. Vegetables, fruits, chicken. The Saturday market is my ritual. I get there at 7 in the morning when everything is fresh. I got home around 11, with my heavy bags, tired but happy, and then I saw the cars parked in front of my house. 5, 6 cars, unfamiliar. Music coming from my living room, voices, laughter. I opened the door with my heart racing. My living room was full of people, people I didn't know. 25, 30 people, young, dressed in smart casual, with wine glasses in hand, electronic music playing from my speaker, golden balloons that said 30 hanging from my lamp. What? I dropped a grocery bag. Danielle appeared from the kitchen with a tray of appetizers. Ah, you're here, she said with a giant smile. Everyone, this is Patricia, the tenant who still lives here. Tenant? Did she just call me a tenant in my own house? The laughter died down. Everyone looked at me. A blonde woman in a tight dress looked me up and down. Oh, you seriously still have tenants, Danny? How awkward. I know. Danielle put on a pained expression. But it's complicated. You know, older people with nowhere to go. Danielle! My voice came out trembling with pure fury. What is going on here? Oh, it's Robert's birthday. 30 years old. I organized a surprise party. She made a grand gesture. Isn't it beautiful? I hired a catering service, decorations, in my house, without telling me, without asking for my permission. Well, Robert has a key, she said, shrugging. I didn't think it would be a problem. Besides, you said this house is also Robert's, right? The perfect trap. If I complained, I'd look like the selfish mother who doesn't want to celebrate her son's birthday. Robert came out of the bathroom at that moment. Mum. He looked surprised. You didn't know? No one told me, I said, looking him straight in the eye. No one asked for my permission to invade my house. It's not an invasion, Mum, it's a party. For me, your son. In my living room, with people I don't know, moving my things, using my kitchen. Oh, lady, don't be so dramatic, one of Danielle's friends, the blonde in the dress, chimed in. It's just a party, a few hours. The house isn't going to fall down. The nervous giggles of the guests burned me like acid. Excuse me, I said with all the dignity I could muster. I need to put my groceries away. I walked to the kitchen. My kitchen was destroyed. Dirty dishes everywhere, open wine bottles, empty pizza boxes, the sink full. And worst of all, my good china, the set my mother gave me that I only use on special occasions, was being used to serve snacks. Be careful with that plate, I told a young man who was serving himself chips on my grandmother's porcelain plate. Relax, Grandma, he said, laughing. I'm not going to break your antique. Grandma? He called me Grandma, a stranger in my house. Danielle came into the kitchen. Patricia, can you put your bags in your room? They're in the way. In the way? My groceries were in the way in my own kitchen? Danielle, I need everyone to leave. What? No, the party's just getting started. You didn't ask my permission. This is my house, and I want them to leave. Mama Trish. Her voice turned sweet, manipulative. It's Robert's birthday. Your only son. Are you really going to ruin it because of your selfishness? It's not selfishness to defend my space. You know what? Danielle came closer, lowering her voice so only I could hear. You're a bitter woman. A bitter old woman who can't stand to see her son happy. You cling to this house as if it's the only thing you have, because it is the only thing you have. You have no life, no friends. You have nothing but this old furniture and your pathetic memories. Every word was a stab. And let me tell you something else, she continued, her green eyes shining with malice. Sooner or later, this house will be Robert's. And when it is, the first thing I'm going to do is throw out all this vintage trash and remodel everything. And you'll be in a nursing home, where you should have been a long time ago. I froze. Not from shock, not from fear, but because in that moment, something inside me broke. Or rather, something inside me woke up. You know, Danielle, I said, with a calm that surprised even me. You're right. She blinked, confused. What? You're right. I'm an old woman clinging to her things. You're right. This house will be Robert's one day. You're right about everything. I smiled, a small, calm smile. Enjoy your party. And I went to my room. I closed the door. And for the first time in months, I didn't cry, because I had already cried enough. Now it was time to act. That night, when everyone had left, leaving my house a disaster that I had to clean up, I made a decision. I needed to know who I was really dealing with. On Monday morning, I called Mrs. Evans. Mrs. Evans lives in the corner house. She's 72 years old and is what Danielle would call nosy, but I call it attentive and observant. Patty, she said when she came over for coffee, I knew you'd come talk to me sooner or later. Mrs. Evans, I need you to tell me everything you've seen. And boy, had she seen things. 2 weeks ago, she began, I saw your daughter-in-law leaving your house. I thought you had been there. But when I passed by your house later, your car wasn't there. She left alone, with papers in her hand. Papers? Yes. And the next day, I saw her meeting a man at the corner cafe. A man in a suit. They talked for about 2 hours. My stomach clenched. What did the man look like? In his 50s, grey suit, briefcase? He looked like a lawyer. A lawyer? Mrs. Evans, have you seen her do anything else strange? Well, she hesitated. I don't want to stick my nose where it doesn't belong, but 3 days ago, I saw her taking pictures of your house, from the outside, and from the inside when you left the window open, with her cell phone, like she was cataloguing everything. Cataloguing. My hands trembled around the coffee cup. Mrs. Evans, would you do me a favor? If you see her doing anything strange again, will you let me know? Of course, Patty. I know that girl is up to something. When Mrs. Evans left, I called my dear friend Linda. Linda and I were teachers together for 20 years. Now she's an estate lawyer. And if anyone could help me understand what Danielle was plotting, it was her. My friend, I said when we met in her office that afternoon, I need you to tell me something with complete honesty. If someone wanted to take my house from me, how would they do it? Linda looked at me seriously. What's going on, Patricia? I told her everything. The party, the comments, the unannounced visits, the lawyer. Linda sighed. There are several ways. The most common is a declaration of incompetence. That's when they declare a person incapable of managing their own affairs, due to dementia, mental illness, senility. If you're declared incompetent, you lose all your legal rights, and a relative can obtain power over your assets. The coffee I had drunk wanted to come back up. Can they just do that? No. They need proof, medical reports, testimonies, psychiatric evaluations. But, my friend took my hand, if someone is determined and has resources, they can build a convincing case. Linda, can you investigate something for me? In your network of lawyers, has anyone inquired about my property? Has anyone tried to get copies of the deed? That's confidential, my friend, but let me make a few calls. 2 days later, Linda called me urgently. My friend, you need to come to my office, now. When I arrived, she had a folder in front of her. Patricia, sit down. I sat, my heart pounding like a drum. 3 weeks ago, someone tried to obtain a certified copy of your house deed using a power of attorney. What? A power of attorney supposedly signed by you, giving full authorization over your assets to Robert Miller. My son. My own son. But I never signed that. I know. That's why we rejected it. The signature didn't match the one we have on file. It was an attempted forgery. The room started to spin. Who? Who submitted that document? Linda pulled out a sheet of paper. Danielle Collins Miller, your daughter-in-law. There it was. The confirmation. The proof. Danielle didn't just want my house. She was willing to steal it. My friend, there's more. Linda took out another sheet. I did more digging. Danielle has debts, a lot of debts. Credit cards, $14,000. A personal loan, $7,500. Another loan for the car, $9,500. $31,000 in debt. She and Robert are drowning financially. Their apartment is at risk of foreclosure. And, my friend, Linda looked me directly in the eyes, your house is worth approximately $225,000, according to the current property assessment. $225,000. Enough to pay all their debts and live comfortably. It all made sense now. The rush to move in, the pressure, the manipulation. It wasn't family love. It wasn't concern for my loneliness. It was pure greed. Linda, what do I do? First, secure your assets. Make a clear will. Put legal locks on your property. Second, she hesitated. Second, be very careful. If they've already tried to forge your signature once, they'll try again. I didn't sleep that night because I realized something terrible. My son was married to a criminal, and she wouldn't stop until she had what she wanted. But I wouldn't stop either, because no one was going to take away the fruit of 35 years of honest work from me. Things escalated 2 weeks after my conversation with Linda. Robert showed up at my house on a Tuesday afternoon, without Danielle, alone. Mum, we need to talk. He looked tired, with dark circles under his eyes, thinner than before. Of course, sweetheart. Do you want some coffee? No, Mum. Sit down, please. We sat in the living room, he in the armchair. I sat in my usual spot, the sofa where his father and I used to watch movies. Mum, he began, without looking me in the eye. Danielle and I are worried about you. Worried? Yes, we've noticed changes. What kind of changes? Well, he rubbed his face. The other day we came over and you left the stove on. Remember? I blinked. Stove on? I never leave the stove on. Robert, I didn't. And last week when I called you, you told me you were going to the supermarket. I called you again 2 hours later and you told me you were going to go to the supermarket, as if you didn't remember our conversation. Honey, that's not true. Mum, he interrupted me. We've also noticed that you repeat the same stories over and over again, the same anecdotes about Dad, about your job. It's normal to remember. And you forgot my birthday. I had to remind you. That was a lie. I never forget my son's birthday, March 23rd. I would never forget it. Robert, what's going on here? Mum. He finally looked at me and his eyes were wet. Danielle and I think you need to see a doctor, a specialist. My blood ran cold. A specialist? A geriatrician, to evaluate your memory, your cognition. There it was, Danielle's plan. Declare me senile, incompetent, incapable. I don't need any geriatrician, Robert. I'm perfectly fine. Mum, what you're saying confirms the problem. People with cognitive decline don't realize their own decline. Memorized words. Robert, I said with all the calm I could muster. Look me in the eyes. He did, uncomfortably. Do you really think I'm losing my mind? You? My son, who has known me for 30 years? Mum, it's just that Or is it Danielle who's putting these ideas in your head? Not everything is Danielle's fault, he exploded. Why is everything always her fault? She just wants to help. Help? By calling me a tenant in my own house. By throwing parties without my permission. By telling me I should be in a nursing home. She never said that. She did, Robert. In my kitchen on your birthday. She said it right to my face. You're exaggerating, Mum. Misinterpreting things. See? That's also a sign of... Of what, Robert? Of dementia? Is that what you're going to say? He fell silent. Look, Mum, we already made an appointment. With Dr. Mendoza. He's the best geriatrician in the city. Very prestigious. I'm not going. Mum, I said I'm not going. I don't need any doctor to evaluate me because I'm not sick. If you're not sick, then there's no problem with getting evaluated, right? The perfect trap. If I refused, I'd confirm I had something to hide. If I went, I'd be putting myself in their hands. Robert, listen to me carefully. I raised you, I fed you, I clothed you, I educated you, I paid for your college, I supported you in every decision. And now you do this to me. Mum, I'm doing it because I love you, because I'm worried about you. No, you're doing it because your wife is manipulating you, because she wants this house, because you have debts, and you see my property as the solution to your problems. Robert turned pale. How do you know that? So it's true? You have debts? Everyone has debts, Mum. It's normal. $31,000 are not normal debts, Robert. Are you investigating us? I'm protecting myself. What's the difference? Robert stood up, furious. You know what? Danielle was right. You're paranoid. You see conspiracies where there are none. You've become a bitter, distrustful person. I've become a person who has opened her eyes. We'll see you on Thursday at 4 at Dr. Mendoza's office. I hope you go, for your own good. And he left. I sat there, shaking, but not from fear, from determination, because if they wanted to play dirty, I would play smarter. Thursday came. I decided to go to the appointment, but not alone. I called my niece Carla, my sister's daughter. Carla is a lawyer, young, smart, fierce. Auntie, this is serious, she said when I told her everything. If Dr. Mendoza is on their payroll, he can fabricate a diagnosis. That's why I need you to come with me as a witness. We arrived at the office. Robert and Danielle were already there. Mum, you came. Robert seemed relieved. Then he saw Carla. What is she doing here? I'm her legal representative, Carla said in a firm voice, and I have the right to be present during any medical evaluation. Danielle turned pale. That's not necessary. It's absolutely necessary, Carla interrupted. In fact, I insist. The consultation was a farce. Dr. Mendoza, a man in his 50s with the smile of a used car salesman, asked me basic questions. What day is it today? Thursday, September 15th. Who is the president? I answered correctly. Can you subtract by sevens starting from 100? 93, 86, 79, 72, 65. All perfect. But then the trick questions started. Mrs. Miller, do you feel lonely in your house? Sometimes. It's natural after losing my husband. Have you thought about selling the property, moving to a smaller, more manageable place? There it was, the hidden agenda. No, my house is perfectly manageable, but a large property requires maintenance, expenses, at your age. Doctor, Carla interrupted, are these questions part of a standard cognitive evaluation? The doctor shifted uncomfortably. I am assessing the patient's ability to make decisions about her life. She has just demonstrated perfect memory, temporal and spatial orientation, and mathematical ability. What exactly is your medical concern? Well, the family reports episodes of confusion. What episodes specifically? Danielle chimed in. She left the stove on. She forgot conversations. She repeats stories. Did you witness these events directly? Carla asked. Well, Robert told me. Then it's hearsay, not medical evidence. Dr. Mendoza closed his notebook. Look, based on this evaluation, I don't see any obvious signs of cognitive impairment. However, what? I pressed. I would recommend a more in-depth evaluation, an MRI, full neuropsychological tests. This could take several weeks. And in the meantime, Danielle asked eagerly, while we wait for the results? In the meantime, it would be prudent for Mrs. Miller to consider signing a durable power of attorney, just as a precaution, so that if she were to need help, she would already have everything in order. There it was, the real goal, the power of attorney. I'm not signing anything, I said, standing up. This consultation is over. Mum, Robert stood up. The doctor is trying to help you. No, sweetheart. The doctor is trying to help you and I'm not going to allow it. Mrs. Miller, the doctor used his most condescending voice. I understand it's difficult to accept that you need help. It's part of the process. Denial is common in patients with... Be careful what you're about to say, doctor, Carla warned, because if you issue a diagnosis without solid medical evidence, I can sue you for malpractice. The doctor turned pale. I'm not diagnosing anything, just recommending. Your recommendations are noted and will be part of the legal record if this escalates. We left the office. Robert caught up with me in the parking lot. Mum, why are you making this so difficult? Difficult? I'm making it difficult. I looked him straight in the eyes. Robert, that doctor wanted me to sign a power of attorney so you could control my assets. Don't you see what's happening? What's happening is that you need help, and you're too stubborn to accept it. What's happening, I said with a broken voice, is that your wife has you so manipulated that you no longer recognize your own mother. Enough, he shouted. Enough of blaming Danielle for everything. I'm sick of it. You know what? If you don't want our help, fine. Take care of yourself, just like you've always wanted. And he left. Carla hugged me as I cried in the parking lot. Auntie, this is going to get worse before it gets better. I know. You need to protect yourself. Legally, financially, emotionally. Tell me what to do. And Carla, bless her heart, gave me the plan. That night, in my empty, silent house, I made the most important decision of my life. I would not be a victim. I called Carla. Auntie, are you sure? Once we start this, there's no going back. I'm sure. Tell me what I have to do. For the next 2 weeks, I executed my plan with military precision. Step 1, secure my assets. The first thing was the car. My 2018 silver Nissan Sentra, 54,000 miles. I had taken care of it like it was gold. It was worth about $14,000, according to the sales websites. I posted the ad on a Wednesday. By Friday, I had 5 interested buyers. One of them was Mr. Henry Morgan. He arrived promptly at 10 in the morning. A man in his late 60s, straight back, firm gaze. 35 years in the state police, retired colonel. Mrs. Miller, he said, after inspecting the car, it's in excellent condition. I'll offer you $13,500. Cash. Cash. I have the money in the bank. We can go right now, do the transfer with a notary, and in 2 hours the car is mine. Mr. Morgan, can I ask you something personal? Of course. If someone were to damage this car, say, key it completely, what would you do? He looked at me with those police eyes that have seen everything. Ma'am, I'm a retired colonel. I have contacts throughout the state and municipal police. If someone damages my property, I file a report immediately. And believe me, when a retired officer of my rank files a report, the matter gets investigated. Why do you ask? Just curious. He smiled. He didn't believe me, but it didn't matter. Deal? Deal. That afternoon, $13,500 in cash was deposited into my new bank account, an account that neither Robert nor Danielle knew about. Step 2, move my savings. I had $60,000 in my lifelong account, the account where Robert was listed as the beneficiary, the account whose bank statements were mailed to my house, where Danielle had a key. Carla helped me open a new account at another bank, digital, no paper statements, with 2-factor authentication. I transferred everything, every dollar, plus the $13,500 from the car. Total in the new account, $73,500. In the old account, I left $250, enough to make it look like it was still active, but not enough to be worth stealing. Step 3, armor plate my house. With Linda, my dear friend and lawyer, I made several legal moves. First, a new will, crystal clear, the house to Robert, but only after my death, and with a clause. If he tried to take it from me beforehand, the inheritance would be voided and the property donated to a children's foundation. Second, a life estate deed. This meant that although the house would eventually be Robert's, I had the right to live in it until my death. No one could kick me out. Third, a revocable power of attorney granted only to Carla. If anything happened to me, she would make decisions about my medical and financial affairs. Not Robert, not Danielle. Auntie, Carla told me, this is going to infuriate them when they find out. I know, but it's my protection. Step 4, surveillance. Here came the tricky part. I called my nephew, Javier. He's an IT security technician. I explained the situation. Aunt Patty, what you're asking me is, well, it's intense. I know, but I need proof, evidence of what they're planning. Are you sure? Once you see what they're saying, you won't be able to unhear it. I'm sure. Javier installed 4 hidden cameras in my house. One in the living room, inside a wall clock. One in the kitchen, inside the microwave I no longer used. One in the entryway, inside a picture frame. One in the hallway, inside the smoke detector. All connected to an app on my phone. I could see and hear everything in real time, and everything was recorded to the cloud. Auntie, this is legal because it's your house, but be careful what you do with the recordings. I'll only use them if it's absolutely necessary. I gave a copy of the house keys to Danielle 2 days later. Danielle, I said over the phone, sweet as honey. I've been thinking. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm being too closed-minded. Here, keep this copy of the keys, in case you need anything from the house when I'm not here. Silence on the other end. Really, Mama Trish? Really, we're family, aren't we? Wow, I don't know what to say. Thank you. You're welcome, my love. I hung up and smiled, because now, every time she entered my house without my permission, I would know. I would see it. I would record it. Step 5. The performance. The hardest part. Acting. Acting like I was defeated. Acting like I was confused. Acting like I was weak. I started calling Robert with silly questions. Sweetheart, What day do the Social Security checks come? Mom, the 28th of every month, like always. Oh, right, I forgot. I hadn't forgotten, but I needed him to believe I had. I asked for help with simple things. Robert, can you come help me with the washing machine? I don't understand the new buttons. It was the same 5-year-old washing machine. I knew perfectly well how to use it. I started repeating stories at dinner. Did I tell you about the time your dad and I went to the Florida Keys? Yes, Mum. 3 times. Really? Oh, forgive me. I saw the look he exchanged with Danielle. That look of, see? I told you so. Perfect. I accidentally let something burn on the stove. Nothing dangerous, just a little rice. Mom, you left the stove on. Did I? Oh my goodness. What is wrong with my head? More meaningful glances. For 2 weeks, I gave them exactly what they wanted. An elderly, confused woman who was losing her faculties. And all the while, I was watching. The recordings were pure gold. Recording from September 18th, 3:47 p.m. Danielle and Robert in my living room. I was supposedly out at a doctor's appointment. Robert. Danielle, did you see how she forgot she'd already told us that story? It's the 3rd time this week. Danielle. Yes, Robert. It's getting worse. That's exactly why we have to move fast, before she does something foolish, like donating the house to a church or something. Robert. I wouldn't say that. My mum wouldn't. Danielle. Your mum is senile, Robert. How much more proof do you need? She already tried to refuse Dr. Mendoza. Thank God she didn't sign anything that day, because if she had, we would have lost our chance. Robert. Our chance for what? Danielle. To protect her. To protect her assets, which is your inheritance, which is our future. Robert. Danielle. Danielle. What? Are you going to tell me we don't need the money? Robert. We owe $31,000. $31,000. The bank has already threatened to sue us. Our apartment is at risk. And your mum has a $225,000 house all to herself. Does that seem fair to you? Robert. It's not about fairness. It's her house. Danielle. And soon it will be yours. It's your natural inheritance. We're just speeding up the process. For everyone's good, including hers. Because if she loses her mind completely and ends up in a facility, who do you think will pay for the nursing home? We will, with money we don't have. It's better that she sells the house now, while she can, and moves to a place suitable for her age, and we use the money to pay off our debts and secure our children's future. Robert. We don't have children yet. Danielle. Why do you think we can't afford them? Robert, that's my point. Everything would change if… Robert. If my mum wasn't in the house anymore. Danielle. Exactly, look. I'm fond of her, I really am. But it's time for her to accept reality. It's time for all of us to accept reality. Long pause. Robert. What are you proposing? Danielle. Dr. Mendoza can do a more aggressive evaluation. With the right results, we can petition for incompetence, get full legal power, and then decide what's best for her. Medicaid covers decent nursing homes. She would be well cared for. Robert. And us? Danielle. And we get the house. It's your inheritance, my love. We're just claiming it a little early. When I saw that recording, I cried. Not from sadness, from fury, but also from relief. Because now I had proof. Proof of the manipulation. Proof of the conspiracy. Proof of everything. And I was ready for the next step. Step 6. The final key. I contacted Mr. Morgan, the colonel who bought my car. Mr. Morgan, I need to ask you a very big favor. Tell me, Mrs. Miller. I told him everything. The situation with my daughter-in-law, the manipulation, and my plan. You bought that car from me 2 weeks ago, I said. But Danielle doesn't know that. She still thinks it's mine, and I have reason to believe she's going to do something about it. Mr. Morgan listened intently. What do you need from me? That when she damages the car, you file a full police report with the full weight of your position. Make her face the consequences. Ma'am, he said with a predator's smile, it will be a pleasure. There's one more thing. I need her to confess, to say exactly why she did it, and I need to record it. Are you planning to provoke her? Yes. I like the way you think, Mrs. Miller. Count on me. For the next week, I played my best role. I was depressed, confused, weak. I told Robert I was feeling unwell. Maybe you're right, sweetheart. Maybe I do need help. His eyes lit up. Really, Mum? Really, I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of everything. I told Danielle I was considering her suggestions about moving to a smaller, more manageable place. Oh, Mama Trish, I'm so glad you're coming to your senses. And then, on Thursday, September 22nd, I left the keys to my car on the kitchen table, where Danielle could see them, and I left the house. But I didn't go far. I parked 2 blocks away, with a view of the supermarket parking lot where Mr. Morgan had left the car. And I waited. At 3:15 p.m., I saw Danielle's car arrive. I saw her park far from the Nissan. I saw her walk towards it, looking around to make sure no one was watching. I saw her take out her keys. And I saw her key the entire car. Hood, doors, trunk, viciously, with rage, with a smile on her face. I took pictures of everything with my cell phone. When she finished, I saw her go back to her car and drive away, laughing. I waited 5 minutes. Then I called Mr. Morgan. It's done. Excellent. I'm on my way, with patrol cars. And then I dialed Danielle's number, and the conversation that would change everything began. The phone rang 3 times before she answered. Hello? Her voice sounded cheerful, satisfied. Danielle, it's me. Oh, Mama Trish, what's up? Are you done with the doctor? I didn't go to the doctor, Danielle. Pause. No? Why not? Because I had other things to do. Important things. Oh, well. So what do you need? I don't need anything, my love. I was just calling to tell you about something funny that just happened. What's that? Her voice now had a hint of caution. Well, you see, Colonel Henry Morgan just called me. You remember him, right? The gentleman who bought my car 2 months ago. Absolute silence. Danielle, are you still there? What did you say? Colonel Morgan, the owner of the silver Nissan. But that's your car. It was my car, my love. I sold it in July. Didn't I tell you? No, you didn't tell me. Her voice was starting to tremble. Oh, that's strange. I thought I had. Well, the thing is, Mr. Morgan just called me, very upset. It seems someone completely keyed his car. Everything. The poor man is devastated. I didn't. And the funny thing, Danielle, is that he asked me if I knew who could have done such a thing. Because apparently someone saw the incident. One of the supermarket's security cameras caught everything. A lie. There were no cameras, but she didn't know that. Mother-in-law! The scream was pure terror. You told me it was your car. I never told you anything, Danielle. In fact, we haven't talked about the car in weeks. But the keys, you left them on the table. Ah, yes, the keys to my new house, the ones I got from the locksmith to make copies. Another lie, but a perfect one. No, 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 no. Her voice rose, hysterical. This can't be happening. Danielle, did you just confess to keying the car? You set me up. A setup? My love, I didn't force you to key any car. That was your decision, your choice. I did it to humiliate you, to teach you your place, so you'd understand that you can't keep ruining my and Robert's life. Bingo. Full confession, recorded on my phone. Danielle, do you understand what you've just said? You've just confessed to premeditated vandalism. I don't care, you deserve it. Selfish, ruined old woman, a burden. You should be in a nursing home, you should be dead. Those last words hit me like a punch, but they didn't hurt anymore, because the mask had finally fallen completely. Wow, I said calmly. How interesting that you say that, because Mr. Morgan is at the supermarket right now with 3 patrol cars, filing a formal complaint. What? Yes, my love. Damage to private property, vandalism. And when a retired state police colonel files a complaint, the matter gets investigated very, very thoroughly. Mother-in-law, you have to help me. Help you? After what you just said? After wishing me dead? I didn't mean that. I was angry. Mother-in-law, please. In the background, I heard the sirens. Sirens getting closer to where she was. Danielle, where are you now? I'm home. I just got here. Why? At your apartment? Yes. Perfect. Because Mr. Morgan gave the police your description. A 28-year-old woman, long brown hair, blue dress, driving a red Mazda. Your red Mazda, Danielle. A scream of pure panic. No, they're here. They're knocking on my door. Then I suggest you open it. Resisting only makes things worse. Mother-in-law, I hate you. You ruined everything, everything. No, my love, you ruined everything. I just protected what's mine. Ma'am, open the door. I heard the authoritative voice of a police officer in the background. Just a moment, Danielle shouted. Then to me, in a pleading voice, Mama Trish, please, talk to them. Tell them it was a mistake, that I thought it was your car, that it was a misunderstanding. Please. Danielle, how many times did you ask me to leave my own house? I never. How many times did you humiliate me, called me an old woman, treated me like trash? How many times did you plan to rob me, to declare me senile, to put me in a home? Silence. I know everything, Danielle. Everything. I have recordings. I have proof. I know about the debts. I know about the attempt to forge my signature. I know about your conversations with Robert, planning how to take my house. You're lying. September 18th, 3:47 in the afternoon. My living room. You and Robert. Direct quote. It's your inheritance, my love. We're just claiming it a little early. Should I continue? The silence was devastating. How? Because I'm not the senile old woman you thought I was. Because you underestimated the wrong person. Open the door now, or we're breaking it down. The police officer's shout was louder now. I have to go, I said calmly. The officers are waiting for you. Oh, and Danielle, one more thing. What? Her voice was barely a defeated whisper. The car you keyed is worth $14,000. The damage you did will probably cost between $2,500 and $3,000 to repair. That's a felony, not a simple misdemeanor. A felony, with possible jail time. No, it can't be. And Mr. Morgan isn't just any man. He's a retired colonel with contacts all over the state police. He's not going to let this go unpunished. Mama Trish, please. I'm sorry, Danielle, but as you told me so many times, you reap what you sow. And I hung up. My hands were shaking violently. My heart was beating so hard I could hear it in my ears, but for the first time in months, I felt powerful. I felt free. I drove straight home. I needed to be in my space, on my territory. When I arrived, I poured myself a glass of water and sat in my favorite armchair. The phone started to ring. Robert. 1 call, 2, 3, 4. I didn't answer. Then the texts came. Robert. Mum, what did you do? Robert. The police arrested Danielle. Robert. They say she keyed a car. Robert. Your car? Robert. Mum, answer me. Robert. Why did you do this to her? Robert. She's your daughter-in-law. She's my wife. Robert. What kind of person are you? I read every message, and I didn't reply to any of them, because I didn't have to explain myself anymore. I didn't have to justify myself anymore. I didn't have to be the good one to please anyone anymore. At 6 in the evening, someone pounded furiously on my door. Bang, bang, bang. Mum, open up. It was Robert. I took a deep breath and opened it. My son was a wreck. Red eyes, a distorted face, messy hair. How could you? He yelled before I could say anything. How could you have Danielle arrested? I didn't have her arrested. She committed a crime. A crime? She keyed a car because she thought it was yours. Exactly. She keyed it because she wanted to humiliate me, because she wanted to hurt me. Those were her own words. She was angry. People say things when they're angry. And people face consequences when they do illegal things, Robert. It was a car. It can be fixed. It's not my car. It's Colonel Henry Morgan's car, and he has every right to press charges. You planned this. This was all a trap. Yes, I planned it, I admitted without shame. Because your wife has been plotting for months how to steal my house, how to declare me senile, how to put me in a home. And I defended myself. That's a lie. Really? I took out my phone. Do you want to hear the recordings? His face turned pale. What? What recordings? The recordings from your living room, from my living room, from my conversations with Danielle, from your conversations with Danielle. I looked for the file. For example, this one from September 18th. Want to hear it? Mom, no. I pressed play. Danielle's voice came out clearly from the speaker. It's your inheritance, my love. We're just claiming it a little early. Your mum is senile, Robert. We're just speeding up the process. I saw my son crumble, saw reality hit him like a train. I didn't want... You didn't want what, Robert? You didn't want to rob me. You didn't want to put me in a home. You didn't want to take my house. It wasn't like that. Danielle said it was for your own good, that you needed help, that we were helping you. And you believed her. Your own mother who raised you, who fed you, who paid for your education. You believed her instead of me. She's my wife. And I'm your mother. The silence was deafening. Robert, I said more softly, I have all the proof. The recordings, the documents from the forgery attempt, the reports of their debts, everything. And not just Danielle's, yours too. Mine? You knew about the debts. You took Danielle to the lawyer to try to get copies of my deed. You were in the conversation where they planned my commitment. Mum, I just... You just wanted the money, the house, the inheritance, but not when I die naturally. No, you wanted it now. Robert collapsed onto the sofa, crying. I don't know what happened to me. I don't know how we got to this point. I do. Danielle manipulated you, filled your head with poison, and you let her. I have debts, Mum. A lot of debts. The bank is pressuring us. We could lose the apartment. And you thought my house was the easy solution. I just wanted things to get better. Well, you made them worse, my son. Much worse. He wiped his face with his hands. What's going to happen now? Now Danielle faces criminal charges. Damage to private property. If Mr. Morgan wants to press it, she could face up to 2 years in jail. Mum, please, talk to him. Tell him to drop the charges. Danielle can't go to jail. Why should I do that? Because we're family. Danielle stopped being my family the day she called me an old burden who should be dead. Robert looked at me with wide eyes. She said that. She did. On the phone. 3 hours ago. It's recorded too. My son covered his face. My God. Robert, I have a question for you and I need you to be honest. What? Do you really believe I'm losing my mind? You who have known me for 30 years, or were you just following Danielle's script? A very long pause. I don't know. At first I thought it was real. But then I started to doubt. But Danielle was so sure. And I wanted to believe her. Why? Because if it was true, then we weren't the bad guys. We were the good guys helping a sick mother. But it wasn't true. No, it wasn't true, he cried. Mom, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know. Can you forgive me? That question shattered me. Because I wanted to say yes. I wanted to hug him and tell him everything would be okay. But I couldn't. Not yet. Robert, forgiveness isn't instantaneous. It's something that's earned. With actions, not with words. What do you need me to do? First, divorce Danielle. Mum, it's non-negotiable. She tried to rob me. She tried to forge my signature. She wished me dead. And you expect me to maintain a relationship with her? But I love her. You love a lie. You love the mask she used to trap you. But you just met the real Danielle. I can't just leave her. She's arrested. She's scared. And she should be. Actions have consequences. Mom, please. Second, I continued, therapy. You need therapy to understand how you let yourself be manipulated, to work on your codependency issues, to heal. And you? Us? Our relationship? That depends on you, on whether you're really willing to do the work, to face the truth, to choose your mother over your wife. That's not fair. Life isn't fair, honey, but it is just when it's our turn. And now it's your turn. Robert stood up, staggering. I need to go see Danielle. I need to talk to her. Go ahead. But when you walk out that door, think carefully about what you want. Because you can't have us both. You have to choose. Why are you doing this to me? Because I love you. And because you need to learn that manipulating your mother, trying to rob her, and wishing her dead isn't love. It's abuse. And I will not tolerate abuse anymore. My son left without another word, and I was left alone. But this time the loneliness didn't hurt, because it was a chosen loneliness, a loneliness with dignity. 3 days after Danielle's arrest, my phone rang. It was Carla. Auntie, you need to come to my office, now. What happened? Danielle hired a lawyer. She wants to negotiate. I arrived at Carla's office an hour later. In the conference room were Carla, my niece and lawyer, Mr. Morgan, the colonel, a 50-something lawyer in an expensive suit named Mr. Ruiz, and Danielle. My daughter-in-law looked terrible. No makeup, dirty hair, deep dark circles under her eyes. She had spent 2 nights in a holding cell before Robert paid the $2,500 bail. When she saw me walk in, her eyes filled with tears. Mama Trish. Mrs. Miller, I corrected her. Mr. Ruiz spoke up. Mrs. Miller, Mr. Morgan, thank you for coming. We are here to reach an agreement that benefits all parties. What kind of agreement? Mr. Morgan asked in a voice of steel. My client acknowledges that she made a serious mistake, an impulsive error, born of emotional stress and family conflicts. She is willing to pay for the complete repair of the vehicle. $2,750, said Mr. Morgan. That's what 3 body shops quoted me. Danielle turned pale. She clearly didn't have $2,750. Additionally, the lawyer continued, my client is willing to apologize publicly and sign an agreement in which she commits to not approach Mrs. Miller anymore. Is that all? Carla asked sarcastically. We are asking that Mr. Morgan drop the criminal charges. In exchange, my client pays for the damages, and both parties move on with their lives. No, I said simply. Everyone looked at me. I'm sorry, said the lawyer. I said no. I do not accept any deal. Mrs. Miller, the lawyer smiled condescendingly, understand that if this goes to trial, it could take years. It's expensive, draining. I don't care. Mama Trish, Danielle spoke for the first time, her voice broken. Please, I know I was wrong. I know I was horrible to you, but please don't ruin my life over this. Ruin your life? Danielle, you tried to ruin mine. I was desperate. We have debts. We're drowning. I didn't know what to do. So you decided to rob me. I wasn't going to rob you. We just wanted you to see reason, to understand that we needed help. Help? Danielle, you tried to forge my signature. You tried to have me declared senile. You organized a whole plan with a corrupt doctor to take away my legal rights. And you call that help? I just wanted what was best for everyone. Liar. You wanted what was best for you. The lawyer intervened. Mrs. Miller, I understand your anger, but consider this. If you drop the charges, my client can avoid a criminal record. She can keep her job. She can have a normal life. And me? When was I offered a normal life? When I was being humiliated in my own home? When they were planning to put me in a home? When I was wished dead? Those are serious accusations, said the lawyer. With recordings to back them up, Carla replied. In fact, we have the transcripts right here. She pulled out a thick folder. Conversations where Mrs. Danielle Collins Miller explicitly plans how to have my aunt declared incompetent, how to forge documents, how to manipulate medical evaluations. The lawyer opened the folder. He read. His face turned serious. This changes things. Indeed, said Carla. Because now we're not just talking about damage to property. We're talking about attempted fraud, forgery of documents, conspiracy to commit a felony. Each of those charges carries a sentence of 2 to 6 years in prison. Danielle began to sob. Please, Mama Trish, please don't do this to me. I'm not doing anything to you, Danielle. You did this to yourself. You'll have to live with the guilt, she suddenly screamed, of knowing you sent your son's wife to prison, that you destroyed his marriage, that you ruined his life. No, I said with deadly calm. You ruined his life. You manipulated him. You used him. You turned him against his own mother. I just defended myself." "Ladies," Mr. Morgan interrupted, "I understand the emotions here, but let's be practical. Mrs. Miller, what do you want?" Everyone looked at me. I took a deep breath. "I want justice." "Justice can take many forms," said the Colonel. "Then these are my conditions, non-negotiable." I took out my own list, the one Carla and I had prepared. 1. Danielle pays Mr. Morgan $2,750 for the car repairs, in cash, this week. "I don't have—" "Shut up," I growled at her. For the first time in my life, I growled at someone, and it felt good. 2. Danielle signs a full confession of everything she did. Attempted fraud, forgery, conspiracy, everything documented and notarized. "That's self-incrimination," protested the lawyer. "It's the truth, and it's my condition." 3. Danielle divorces Robert, immediately, without asking for alimony, without asking for anything. She leaves with nothing. "No," Danielle shouted. "I love Robert. Do you love him? Or do you love the inheritance you thought he would have?" She didn't answer. 4. Danielle signs a permanent restraining order. She does not come near me. She does not come near my house. She does not contact me. For the rest of my life. And 5, I finished. If Danielle complies with all of this, Mr. Morgan will drop the criminal charges, and I will not press the additional charges of fraud and forgery. Absolute silence in the room. It's too much," Danielle whispered. "It's generous," I replied. "Because the alternative is that you face all the charges. Damage to property, fraud, forgery. We're talking about 6 to 8 years in prison. And believe me, I have all the necessary evidence to beat you in court." Mr. Ruiz looked at his client. "Danielle, we need to speak in private." They left the room. 15 minutes later, they returned. Danielle's eyes were red, but there was a defeated acceptance on her face. "I accept," she said in a broken voice. "All the conditions?" "All of them." "Including the divorce?" "Yes." "Good. Carla, prepare the documents." "They're already prepared, Auntie." My niece was efficient. For the next hour, Danielle signed document after document. The full confession of her actions, the payment agreement to Mr. Morgan, the express divorce petition, the restraining order. With each signature, I watched her crumble a little more. And I felt no pity. I felt justice. When she was finished, Mr. Ruiz stood up. "Mrs. Miller, I hope you are satisfied." "I will be when I receive confirmation of my son's divorce." Danielle looked at me with eyes full of hatred. "You won? Happy?" "This isn't about winning, Danielle. It's about protecting what's mine and teaching you that you can't manipulate, lie, and steal without consequences. You ruined my marriage. You ruined your marriage when you chose greed over love. Robert will never forgive you." "Maybe, but I'd rather have my son hate me for defending myself than love me for letting myself be humiliated." Danielle left the office, followed by her lawyer, and I remained seated, shaking. Mr. Morgan placed a hand on my shoulder. "Mrs. Miller, you did the right thing." "Then why do I feel so empty?" "Because justice doesn't always feel good, but it is necessary." Carla hugged me. "Auntie, I'm proud of you." "Really? Really, not many women of your generation have the courage to stand up for themselves like this." I smiled sadly. I had no choice. It was either defend myself or let myself be destroyed. You chose to defend yourself. And that, Auntie, is power. That night, in my house, my phone rang. "Robert, I hesitated before answering. Hello? Mum. His voice sounded destroyed. Danielle told me about the agreement, about the divorce. I'm sorry, honey. You're sorry? Really? I'm sorry you have to go through this, but I don't regret protecting myself. You're forcing me to divorce the woman I love. I'm not forcing you to do anything, Robert. Danielle signed because she knew the alternative was prison. She chose. You put her in that position. She put herself in that position when she tried to rob me. It's not all black and white, Mum. You're right. But some things are very clear. Trying to forge your mother's signature to steal her house is wrong. Wishing your mother-in-law dead is wrong. Manipulating your husband against his mother is wrong. Silence. Robert, I have a question. What is it? If I had been weak, if I hadn't defended myself, if I had let Danielle go ahead with her plan, where would I be right now? Long pause. I don't know. I do. I'd be in a home, declared senile, without rights over my own property, in a nursing home paid for by Medicaid while you two sold my house and spent my money. Mum, is that the end you wanted for me? No, I never wanted that. But you allowed it. You participated. You took Danielle to lawyers. You were at the meetings with Dr. Mendoza. You knew what they were doing and you let it happen. I thought it was for your own good. No, honey. You thought it was for your own good. For your debts. For your future. For your comfort. I heard him cry on the other end of the line. I don't know who I am without her. Then this is your moment to find out. To find yourself. The Robert I raised, not the one Danielle created. Is there still a place for me in your life? That question broke my heart. There is always a place for you, Robert. You are my son. But that place now has boundaries. It has respect. It has dignity. You can no longer come and go as you please. You can no longer manipulate or use me. If you want to be in my life, it has to be on my terms. And what are your terms? Honesty, respect, therapy, time, and above all, choosing me. Not all the time, but when it matters, choosing me. I don't know if I can, then you have a decision to make. Mum, I love you. Robert, I will always love you, but I will no longer destroy myself to love you. And I hung up. I cried that night. I cried for my son. I cried for the broken marriage. I cried for the shattered family. But I also cried with relief, because finally, I was free. 2 months later, I am sitting in my garden, drinking coffee from my favorite mug, the one my husband gave me 20 years ago. The November sun is perfect. Not too hot, not too cold. Mr. Morgan received his $2,750. His car looks brand new, and he has become an unexpected friend. He now comes for coffee on Thursdays. Danielle and Robert are officially divorced. The process took 6 weeks, express, as we agreed. Danielle moved back in with her parents. She lost her job at the marketing agency when they found out about the arrest. Now she works in a call center, earning $2,500 a month. Her debts are still there, eating her alive. The last I heard, she was in court-ordered therapy, part of the deal for Mr. Morgan to drop the charges. And Robert. My son is living alone in his apartment. He sold many of his things to cover the debts. He's in therapy too. He calls me once a week. Short, awkward conversations at first, but honest. 3 weeks ago, he came to the house, for the first time in months. He knocked on the door. He didn't use his key. Mum, Can I come in? Of course, my son. He sat in the living room, awkwardly. You look good, he said. Thanks, you look tired. I am. Working, paying off debts, therapy. It's exhausting, but necessary. Yes, Mum, I came to tell you something. I'm listening. You were right. About everything. About Danielle. About me. About everything. I felt a lump in my throat. My son. No, let me finish. I was an idiot. A manipulated idiot, yes, but an idiot nonetheless. I allowed someone to convince me that attacking my own mother was okay, that stealing from you was justified, that humiliating you was for your own good. He wiped away tears. And the worst part is that a part of me knew. I knew it was wrong, but it was easier to believe Danielle than to face the truth, that we were broke, desperate, and willing to do anything for money. Robert. When I was married to her, I was a different person, a person I don't like, a person who could look his own mother in the eyes and tell her she was crazy when he knew she wasn't. But you're in therapy now. You're working on yourself. Yes, and it's the hardest work I've ever done, because it means accepting that I was the villain too, not just Danielle, me. I got up and sat next to him. My son, we all make mistakes. This wasn't a mistake, Mum. It was a series of horrible decisions, and you suffered because of them. But I survived. Because you're strong, stronger than me. No, my son, I'm strong because I had to be. And you are too. That's why you're here. That's why you're doing the work. Can you forgive me someday? I'm already forgiving you. Little by little. Every time you come. Every time you're honest. Every time you choose truth over comfort. Can we rebuild our relationship? Yes, but it will be different. It won't go back to how it was before. I know. It will have boundaries. It will have respect. And if you ever again allow someone to treat me the way Danielle treated me, it's over. Forever. Understood. I hugged him, and he cried in my arms like he did when he was a little boy. Last week, Mrs. Evans came to visit me. Patty, the whole neighborhood is talking about you. Really, what are they saying? That you're a warrior, that you stood up to your manipulative daughter-in-law and won. You have half the ladies in the neighborhood asking me how you did it. I laughed. There's no magic formula, Mrs. Evans. I just refused to be walked all over. Well, a lot of us need to learn that. Rose, from the corner, her daughter-in-law treats her horribly too, and she just takes it. Tell Rose to come over for coffee. I'll tell her my story. And so it began. One by one, ladies from the neighborhood came to my house. Ladies with manipulative daughters-in-law. Ladies with sons who ignored them. Ladies who felt they were worthless. And I told them my story. Not to brag, but to empower them. Because if I, at 67 years old, could defend myself, they could too. A week ago, Linda called me. My friend, I have news. Good or bad? Depends. Remember how Danielle tried to forge your signature? How could I forget? Well, it turns out it wasn't the first time. We investigated further. She tried the same thing with her best friend's parents and with an uncle who had money. Really? It's a pattern. Danielle seeks out elderly people with property, gains their trust, and then tries to take their assets. She's almost a professional. My God. The good news is, with your case and the other reports, the district attorney's office is building a bigger case. She could face serious charges even if you drop yours. And what does that mean? It means that even though you forgave her, justice has not. There are other victims, and this time she's not going to get away with it. I was silent, processing. My friend, are you okay? Yes, it just gives me chills to think that she was really a professional con artist and that my son was married to her. That's why you should be proud. You not only protected yourself, you protected Robert too, even if he doesn't see it that way yet. Thank you, Linda, for everything. That's what dear friends are for. Yesterday was a special day. Robert called. Mum, can I come visit tomorrow? There's something I want to show you. Of course, honey. He arrived at 11 in the morning, with a folder in his hands. What's that? My finances, organized, with a payment plan. I opened the folder. There were spreadsheets, projections, budgets. I'm going to pay off all my debts in 18 months, no more. I'm going to live on the bare minimum, no luxuries, no excesses, just work and pay. Robert. And when I'm done, I want to start over, for real, without debts, without this weight on my shoulders. And Mum, I want to apologize, not with words, but with actions. You're already apologizing with this. It's not enough, so I want to do something more. He took out another document. This is a notarized waiver of any right to your property while you are alive. I looked at him, surprised. You don't have to do that. Yes, I do. Because this is how I prove to myself that my love for you has nothing to do with your house or your money, that I love you because you are my mother. Period. Tears ran down my face. My son, the house is yours. It has always been yours. And if someday you decide to leave me something, it will be your decision. But I am not going to wait for it. I am not going to chase it. I am not going to manipulate you for it. Ever again. I hugged him tightly. I am so proud of you. Really, really, this is courage. This is growth. I have a very good therapist, he smiled shyly. Well, then keep going. We laughed. For the first time in months, we laughed together. Mum, do you think we can ever have Sunday dinners together again like before? Yes, but under new rules. What are they? Honesty, respect, and no toxic people at my table. If you ever have a partner again, that person has to earn their place here. It's not automatic. Understood. And Mum, I'm going to be alone for a while. A long time. I need to get to know myself before I can be with someone else. That is the wisest decision you have made in years. Today is Sunday. It's 2 in the afternoon. Robert is coming for dinner at 5. I'm making his favorite meal, pot roast, mashed potatoes, and green beans. Mr. Morgan is coming too, and Mrs. Evans, and Carla with her husband. A family dinner, but this time, on my terms. With people who respect me, with people who value me, with people who chose to be here. As I cook, I think about everything that happened. The pain, the betrayal, the humiliation. But I also think about the strength I discovered, about the woman I became. Not the submissive mother-in-law, not the mother who forgives everything, but Patricia Miller, retired teacher, owner of her house, master of her life, and no one will ever take it from me again. Robert kept his promise. He has been paying his debts religiously for 6 months. He has already paid off $15,500. He has another $15,500 to go, but he's on the right track. He got a better job. Sales manager at a tech company. He earns $5,000 a month. He lives in a smaller apartment for $1,200 a month in rent. He doesn't have a car. He uses public transport. But he's happy. Happier than I've seen him in years. We have dinner together every Sunday. Sometimes he brings dessert. Sometimes he helps with the cooking. And we talk. Really talk. like we hadn't since Danielle entered his life. Danielle now faces charges from the DA's office. 3 more victims came forward with complaints. The pattern was always the same: gaining the trust of elderly people, trying to forge documents, stealing properties. Her trial is in 2 months. Her lawyer says she will likely face 4 to 6 years in prison. Robert has had no contact with her since the divorce. Danielle tried to call him several times, but he changed his number. I have nothing to say to her, he told me, and I don't want to hear her excuses. I am fine. No, I am better than fine. I am alive. My house is still mine. My savings are safe. My dignity is intact. I started a support group for older women. We meet on Wednesdays at the neighborhood church. We talk about boundaries, respect, and how to defend ourselves from manipulative family members. We have 18 members now, 18 women who are learning that love does not mean enduring abuse, that being a good mother does not mean being weak, that we have the right to protect what is ours. Last week, a young woman came to my door. Timid little knocks. I opened it. It was a young woman about 25 years old, pretty, well-dressed. Mrs. Patricia Miller? Yes, how can I help you? My name is Andrea. I'm Danielle Collins's niece. My stomach tensed. I see. What do you need? I came to thank you. Thank me? Yes, Danielle. She also tried to swindle my grandmother. 2 years ago, my grandmother almost lost her house, but we didn't have enough proof. When you reported her and when all the other victims came forward, we were finally able to get justice for my grandmother. I was speechless. My grandmother wanted to come personally, but she's ill, so she asked me to bring you this. She handed me an envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter. Dear Patricia, we don't know each other, but we are sisters in battle. Danielle tried to steal my house from me 2 years ago. I did not have your strength. I let myself be intimidated. I signed papers I didn't understand. I almost lost everything. When I heard that you fought back, that you confronted her, that you gathered evidence, I cried with joy, because it meant that she would finally face justice. Thank you for being brave when I could not be. Thank you for protecting yourself and, without knowing it, protecting me too. You are my hero. With admiration and gratitude, Hope Roberts, 73 years old. I cried reading that letter, because I realized something important. My battle was not just for me. It was for all of us. All the older women that society wants to make invisible. All the mothers that their own children try to manipulate. All the grandmothers who deserve respect, not abuse. Last night, before going to sleep, I stood in front of the mirror in my room. I saw the woman looking back at me. Grey hair, wrinkles on her forehead, age spots on her hands. But I also saw something else. Strength in those eyes, dignity in that posture, power in that gaze. You did it, Patricia, I told myself. You did it. And I smiled. Because it's true. I didn't just survive, I triumphed. If you are listening to this story and you can relate, if you have a daughter-in-law, a son-in-law, a child, or any family member who is manipulating you, if you feel pressured to give up your house, your money, your autonomy, if someone makes you feel like you are a burden, a nuisance, an inconvenience, listen to me carefully. You are not the problem. You are not crazy. You are not selfish for protecting what is yours. You have a right to your space. You have a right to your property. You have a right to your dignity. And if anyone tries to take that from you, you have the right to defend yourself. With all your strength, with all the legal tools available, with all the courage you have inside you. Because true love does not manipulate. True love does not steal. True love does not humiliate. And you deserve to be loved for real, not for what you have, but for who you are. Today, at 67 years old, sitting in my house, drinking coffee from my favorite mug, surrounded by people who respect me, I can say with certainty, I am Patricia Miller, retired teacher, mother, survivor, warrior, and no one ever again will make me feel less than that. This was my story, the story of how my daughter-in-law tried to destroy me, and how I destroyed her first. Not with malice, but with justice. And if my words can help even one woman to defend herself, then every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of pain was worth it. Because now I am free, and you can be too. You just have to have the courage to say, enough. This is mine. I matter. And believe me, when you finally say it, everything changes. The end. Patricia Miller closed her journal, put away her pen, and went out to the garden where Robert was waiting for her to plant rose bushes. Mother and son, working together. Not in the house they almost lost, but in the house she saved. And as the afternoon sun bathed the garden in golden light, Patricia smiled. Because finally, after so much pain, she had found peace. Not the peace of surrender, but the peace of victory. And that, dear reader, is the best peace of all.